Ano ba gagawin mo?
Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a poor old widow who lived near a forest. She had a little boy named Jack, who was her only child. One day, Jack said, "Give me a penny, mother, please, please." His mother gave all her pennies up until Jack had them all. At last, she said, "There's nothing left to buy food with. Now we must sell our cow." Jack started down the path forward for a long he met old stranger fellow had a big tray full of red, pink, and purple beans, which he was selling. Jack thought they were so beautiful, and he said, "I have any pennies but trade you for my cow." Okay, done. Jack rushed home with the beans. When his mother found out what he'd done, she grabbed the beans and threw them beside the kitchen window. "Silly boy, you have traded all our own handful of little beans. I gave you all my pennies the other day, and this is how you repay me? I gave you all you asked and more than I could afford. I asked you to sell the cow, and what did you do? Trade! One day you will wish you hadn't obeyed me." Jack cried himself to sleep. He woke before sunrise and found the beans had sprouted and grown right up into the clouds. In a just little time, the beanstalk was like a giant tree. Jack decided to climb the stalk. All morning along, he climbed some more. Finally, at noon, she reached the top. As she looked around, Jack saw a castle surrounded by bones. Jack rang the bell and a door woman came out. "Shh, be careful, boy. If you want to live, a mean giant lives here, and I am his wife. Quickly jump into this." So Jack quickly hid himself in the oven, and to relieve there wasn't any fire. Nearby, Jack heard the giant roared, "Fee, fee, fo, fum! I smell a blood of an Englishman." So she said to her giant husband, "Why, Jack, was no one here? Then bring my magic hen." She ran into the next room and brought an old chicken. "Lay me some eggs," said the giant. To this astonishment, Jack watched the hen lay eggs on a solid goat upon the table. Amazed, Jack threw himself. "If only we had that magic golden eggs, all of our problem would be solved and my mother would be happy again." The giant wife left the room and the giant fell asleep. He stretched out his leg and gave the hen little a rest from laying golden eggs. She sneaked carefully up to the table and quickly grabbed the hen. He climbed down the stalk as fast as he could. Then he came home, excitedly told his mother, "You wouldn't have to wish still we hadn't any more, mother. This is a hen will take all of our problems." "Where did you get that hen?" "I found it at the top of the beanstalk." Jack did not tell his mother he's taken from the giant because he knew would be angry. No one would think that having this trait would be made Jack happy. Alas, Jack wanted more. His mother begged him stay at home. Jack would not obey. One day he carefully disguised himself as soon when climbing back up the beanstalk. Mr. Giant did not recognize Jack and hid himself in the kitchen pantry while his husband had his tea. Jack watched, thought a small hole has a giant count of money bags full of gold over and over until he became tired. The wife went out the room and gave his son the opportunity to quickly grab the bag of gold and run to the top of the beanstalk. He poured the bags out of gold in his house. Jack's mother was working in a below and he was amazed with gold falling down the sky, but even happier to saw her Jack's return safely home. Okay. Look, Jack, this gold has fallen to the beanstalk. We have more money than we could ever spend there. Now we can stay home and where you are safe. Once again, would think Jack have been content himself he had listened to his mother, but after a year he decided would climb the beanstalk again. One morning his mother overslept and was opportunity to Jack waited for. Jack put disguise and started back up to the beanstalk. Now, knowing him, the giant wife told a long sad story about mean her husband was and how he had lost all of his gold. Suddenly, footsteps could be heard. It was a mean old giant. He was pointed to wash tub. He where could hide. The giant roared. Fee, fo, fo, fum, I smell a boy. He began to search the room frantically. He looked around and found nothing. He looked anywhere but in the tub. Soon night, his wife went to bed. The giant cried, "My harp!" A harp came running into a room by itself and knelt beside him. "Play!" said the giant, and the harp began to play beautifully soft music. Soon as the giant fell fast asleep, the magic tunes memorized young Jack. If only I had that I never roam, I would be happy to stay at home with my mother. So she grabbed the harp and ran. Just reached the door and "Master, master!" The giant awoke with a start. Jack dropped the harp and ran as fast as possibly he could back towards the beanstalk. As he was running, Jack heard the giant yell, "You are the thief! You took my gold and my hen!" Oh, how Jack would wish that he'd not taken and obeyed his poor mother old. Jack reached the first and started down. Jack cried, "Mother, hurry, hurry, grab an axe." As he reached the bottom, Jack chopped down the stalk so that the giant could not climb. It was close escape. Jack had finally learned his lesson. "Mother, it was wrong for me to take these things, giant. I will promise for now I will be content what I have. I will obey you. To show his serious about what as understanding the lesson he had learned from the call with the giant, he wrote a poem. My star shows you that our pennies spent should not nag for more, but we could try to content. He fret these things go wrong at home, then never run away when you're told to do and obey mother. Jack forever honored ideals from the poem and both and his mother live happily ever after. The end.